Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. My name is Nabil Haziq bin Yazid, and I am the chairman of IIUMSU Election Commission 23-24. So now we will start the notice of election for the IIUMSU election 2023. First of all, I would like to thank all participants or audience that joined tonight's notice of election. I appreciate your efforts in the campus politics and also the campus democracy, especially on the IIMSU, on the IIM Student Union. So without further ado, I will start the notice of election. Next. So now we'll start first with the IIMSU election 2023 timeline. So what we've presented to you is a finalized timeline, the finalized timeline of the IIMSU election 2023. So we start first with the notice of election on 15th of April, that is tonight. So what we will present to you is the amended rules and regulation, nomination phase, do's and don'ts, and all the details that you need for the IIMSU election, for the upcoming election. And then we have the nomination day on 5th of May, right after the mid-semester break or Raya break. And the nomination day this year, hopefully, we will make it more interesting. So nomination day, we will have it physically in all three campuses. So the specified venue, we will announce to you later via our social media platforms. And then we have the candidate competition workshop on 12th and until 13th May. And then we have the Central Seat campaign tour from 13th to 14th May. And then we have the candidates debate from 15th to 24th May. That includes the presidential debate. And then we have the polling day on 25th May. And the unofficial announcement on the same day. Hopefully we can present or announce it around 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. So the total days of campaigning or canvassing total up to 20 days for this year election. So that's all for the IIMSU election 2023 timeline. So now we proceed with the notice of election. So this is a notice of IIM Student Union election 2023. In anticipation of the election Commission of IIM Student Union election 2023 would like to make the following announcements. First, the voting shall be conducted by all campuses for the president seat, secretary seat, treasury seat, and international seat, hereafter referred to as the central seat. 2. Pursuant to Section 25, Subsection 5 of the IIMSU election of IIM Student Union 2020, the voting shall be conducted for central seat and general seat. Third, the number of seats to be contested are as follows. Next. So the total number of seats is 41 seats. But I would like to make a disclaimer. From the recent Central Parliament sitting, there have been substantial amendments made towards the IIM Student Union Constitution. So the number of seats or the total allocation of seats that will be contested, the Election Commission has yet to finalize it yet, because we're still waiting for the approval of the amendments to the IIM Student Union Constitution from ROS, or the Registrar of Society. So the conclusion is on the allocation of seats or number of seats is subject to change from time to time. So you have to wait for another announcement or another notice from the Election Commission on the number of seats that will be contested in this upcoming election. Fourth, central seat, general seat, and office seats, the rules of the nomination and election are as follows. Nomination. The candidates for the central seat, general seat, and office seat must be a full-time, active, registered student of IIM and a member of the IIM Student Union. Election. Candidates for the central seat shall be voted by all of the registered voters of IIM Student Union, while for the general seat and office seat, candidates shall be voted only by registered voters of the respective locality. Fifth, prospective candidates must themselves collect the nomination form. A candidate can be nominated for one seat only. Six, the candidate, his or her proposer and seconder are required to submit the nomination form personally during a specified time and venue to be notified by the Election Commission later. 7, only students who fulfill the following conditions shall be eligible for nomination to the IIM Student Union election. First, his or her must be a full-time registered active student of IIM and member of the IIM Student Union. Second, obtain a CGPA of not less than 2.80 at the time of nomination and not less than 3.0 for the president seat at the time of nomination. Third, have completed at least one regular semester and have yet to undergo at least 2 regular semesters of 4 regular blocks to graduate from the university. That means the last year for a candidate to contest or nominate themselves, third year, second semester. That is the final year or the last year that he or she can nominate him or herself as a candidate for this upcoming election. Next, have not been required to repeat one or more semesters, serve as good examples to others by completing the candidate workshop. Next. Never been found guilty and convicted of any disciplinary offense under Students' Discipline Rules 2004, except for compoundable offenses. Of good moral character and observe the Islamic Code of Conduct as required by the university rules and regulations. Not a member of the Election Commission, Election Working Committee, Election Tribunal Committee, Election Audit Committee, or the Legislative Assembly. And any other qualifications may be determined by the Election Commission from time to time. 8. The candidate shall not be a proposer or seconder of another candidate. A proposer or seconder shall not propose or second more than one candidate. Each prospective candidate can only register their candidacy for one seat only. The nomination form could be found on the IIUMSU Election Commission link tree provided in all Election Commission social media platforms, which will be made available on 15th April 2023, right after this notice of election ends. 12. The candidates are required to pay RM50 ringgit to register. The total amount of RM50 paid consists of the non-refundable purchase of the nomination form, which amounts to RM10 ringgit. The remaining RM40 serves as a deposit for the candidates. The deposit will be refunded to the candidate if they manage to abide by the IIM Student Union election rules and regulations. 13. Payment must be made before submitting the nomination form. Payment can be made to the Treasurer of IIUMSU Election Commission by the Faizan Izham bin Muhammad. The details are as follows. 14. All nominated candidates are required to attend the candidate competency workshop and the examination organized by the Election Commission 23-24 on the date after the final list of the nominated candidate is displayed. Next. 15. Eligible voters. Only students who fulfill the following conditions shall be the eligible voters for the IIM Student Union election. A. Active full-time students, undergraduate or postgraduate. B. Registered students currently following a program of study in IIUM. And C. Registered as IIMSU members. So that's all for the notice of election for the upcoming IIMSU election 2023. So before we proceed with the election rules and regulation 2020, amended 2023, I would like to encourage or tell the audience that if you have any questions, please do so to comment in the comment box below. So now we proceed with the election R&R. For the last Parliament Central sitting, we've made some substantial changes to the election rules and regulation, aligning same with the intended amendments of the IIM Constitution, IIMSU Constitution. So what I will present here is just what the Election Commission deemed necessary to explain and give clarification to the public, to the students of IIM, and also the members of IIM Student Union. And you can get a copy of the finalized election rules and regulation 2020 amended 2023 later in our link tree after this notice of election ends. So we proceed with the R&R. The first one is section 13, subsection 2C. The previous wording is students who have completed at least one regular semester and have yet to undergo at least one academic year to graduate from the university. What we added in the current wording is one regular semester and at least two regular semesters or 4 regular blocks. We just specified more on the year of on the academic year, so that we don't misinterpret, and also the public don't misinterpret. Next is on section 15, subsection 1. Any candidate for the SU election shall stand for election on individual capacity and not representing any student front in which the election commission determined to be unsuitable to the interests and well-being of the students of the university. So we repeal, in the current wording, we repeal the word individual capacity. So the current wording is any candidate for the SU election shall not representing any student front. That means that every candidate contest in the upcoming IIUM SU election 2023 can make a pact or coalition or group with other candidates for campaigning purposes. So that is allowed as long as you don't represent your student front colors, identities, or logos. Okay, and then we go to section 19, subsection 1. We added that any candidates or proposers, candidates running for the election may object to any nomination of a candidate. So on the nomination day that we will have it physically in all 3 campuses, the proposer and also seconder can object a candidate nomination on the day, on the venue. So yeah, next is section 20, subsection 2. Withdrawal form submitted to the IIUMSU Election Commission after the final list of candidates eligible to stand for election under Regulation 2020 shall not be accepted. What we added was shall be subjected to the loss of deposit, the wording that we bold. So the reason or the justification is that we feel that because of the burdens and also the big responsibilities that the IIUMSU officers carry and they have to fulfill. So we felt that it is unfair if we don't give permission for the candidates, the contested candidates, to withdraw as a candidate in the upcoming election. So we add shall be subjected to loss of deposit. So 40 ringgit will lost from you. Next is section 28, section 1B, portray an identity which symbolizes the identity of any group. We added that portray an identity which symbolizes the identity of any student front. So again, you can't identify yourself or your group as a student front. Any student front, any logos, colors, and also identity. But you can make a pact, you can make a coalition, you can make a grouping between all the candidates contesting. Whether you want to call it Pakatan Bumi Hijau or Pakatan something or coalition of something. So that is allowed by the Election Commission for this upcoming election. So that's all for the amended rules and regulation, the new rules and regulation, election rules and regulation 2020 amended 2023. So now we will proceed with the nomination phase of the election. So I want to direct your attention to the timeline on the nomination day. So the nomination day is on 5th of May, right after mid-semester break or right break. So we will open the nomination form tonight, 15 April 2023, 9 a.m. So after this election, 15 April, so that's a typo. 15 April, that is tonight. So after the notice of election ended, you can retrieve it in our link tree across all our social media platforms. And then we will close the nomination form on 5th May 2023 on 11:59 p.m. Okay, and then the nomination day on 5th May, starting on 8 a.m. And the objection period on the nomination day on the same day, 5th May, from 11:45 a.m. Until 12:30 p.m. And then we have an appeal period on the same day, 5th May, from 2:30 p.m. until 3:45 p.m. Right, next. So now I will explain a bit more on the submission of the nomination form. So a candidate must submit the nomination form related attachments as provided in Guidelines E physically to the Election Commission at the specified venue. Candidates may submit their nomination form at one of the nomination venues, either in Gombak, Kuantan, and Pago, as will be notified by the IIUMSU Election Commission as it deems necessary in any circumstances. So the Election Commission acknowledged that right after mid-semester break, most of the kuliah still conducted their classes online. Still conduct their classes online. So to ease the process of nominating yourself as a candidate, you can go to the nearest campus, IIM campus, your nearest IIM campus, whether it's in Pago, Kuantan, or Gombak, to nominate yourself. But don't worry, fret not that your, for example, if I'm for Gombak and then I want to nominate myself in Kuantan, fret not that your nomination form will be displayed, in Gombak. So I think that's all on the nomination phase. You can view the complete one in our link tree right after this notice of election ended. So now we will proceed to the do's and don'ts of the candidate campaign 2023. Next. Okay, next. I will highlight, or I will just explain the one that I deem necessary and to give clarification to the public. The complete one you can read after this in our, you can retrieve it in our link tree right after this notice of election amended. So on the canvassing part, canvassing by candidates is permitted subject to the following conditions. So A, there shall be no smear campaign against the character of any candidate, individual, or official within or outside the university in any electronic medium or other medium. B, candidates are reminded that the display of poster and banner should not cause any damage and inferiority to the properties of the university. C, there shall be no involvement of any political parties or platform of any political group within or outside of the university. D, involvement of any person who is not a student of IIM is allowed. However, the candidate is required to notify Election Commission on the guest or speaker. So meaning that, it's okay, next. Now, E, there shall be no display or publish of any kind of image, logo, motto, or slogan that indicates the existence of student front either before, during, or after the election. F, canvassing shall not be carried out in lecture halls, lecture rooms, library, laboratories, mosque, prayer room, or other places used for academic purposes. And G, all campaigning shall cease by 24th May 2023 at 11:59 p.m. before the polling day. And then 12th, on the rally part, the issue to be raised cannot mention with any political ideas in the rally in support of or in opposing any candidate. Should any candidate deviate from the issue stated above, the rally shall be cancelled by the Election Commission. B, the rally is allowed to be held through any platform or open public spaces. C, a rally which is to be organized must be informed through IIUM SU Election Commission official email. So you can just provide us with your campaigning schedule so that we are notified of your campaign. D, the rally must be conducted in English. And then on 13, on the guidelines for poster and banner, also flyer. A, all candidates must submit a soft copy of the main posters and banner for reviewing purposes only. Action will be taken if the main posters and banner does not meet the required guidelines provided. The main posters and banner does not need prior approval from the Election Commission for canvassing. Main posters and banner, any three campaign materials of the candidates, meaning that the printed one, the one that you want to print, any bunting, banner, or posters. So that one you need to email to us for reviewing purposes only. So B, there shall be no display or publish of any kind of logo or motto or slogan that indicates the existence of student front either before, during, or after the election. C, campaign poster must include IIUM SU Election Commission official logo and the Road to Election 2023 logo. So this one you can retrieve in our link tree later after this notice ended. Next. Any online posting can be made as long as those postings are not against the election of IIUMSU Union Regulation 2020, amended 2023, and the do's and don'ts of IIUMSU Election Commission. So can you go back? So I just want to highlight on the part of guidelines for poster, banner, or flyer. So again, taking into account last election, so we made some adjustments to the do's and don'ts. So we want to ease or further facilitate the candidates. So for your printed materials or your printed canvassing materials, you don't need to submit to the Election Commission for approval. So you just need to submit it for our reviewing purposes. So as long as you don't violate the guidelines provided here on section 13 or number 13, it's not a problem. So you just need to submit for our notification. So you can, for example, in holidays, you want to start to print out your materials, your canvassing materials, banner, bunting, etc. You can, but you must not violate the guideline provided here. So I think that's all. Thank you so much. I think now we'll go on to the Q&A session. Oh, okay, sorry. So we have the key takeaways before we go to the Q&A session. So what I like to emphasize is that the canvassing period for this upcoming election, IIUM SU Election 2023, the canvassing period is for 20 days. So you have 20 days to campaign or to promote yourself as a candidate. And then candidate can nominate themselves in all three campuses, Pagu, Kuantan, and Gombak. It's not an issue because your form, if you are a student of Pagu and you nominate yourself in Gombak, it's not a problem. Your form will still be displayed in Pagu. And all official election related documents can be retrieved from the Election Commission link 3. Last one is any inquiries regarding the election, you can contact us through our official email or all social media platforms. So I think that's all. Now we'll enter to the Q&A session. Right, so you are now, the Election Commission will entertain any questions regarding the election processes. But yeah, if you have any question, you can shoot it out. But you can later whether us to our social media platforms and etc. or any election commissioners. So do we kita tunggu for 1 minute. So okay, we wait for around 2 minutes or 3 minutes for the Q&A session. Okay, so we have a question from Mars. What online or offline? Can you specify it? Oh, the election processes. Oh, for voting. Okay, sorry. So it will be made online. We're still opting for online voting, but on the system or method of voting, we will inform later in a later notice. Thank you. Okay. So we will wait for another minute for any questions to ask. So yeah, another minute and then we'll end the session. So there's huh? When is the next election? So can you go back to the election timeline? So to answer Brother Abuzar, thank you for the question. This is the complete timeline of the upcoming IIUMSU election to 2023. The polling day, the nomination day will start on 5th of May, right after a break or mid-sem break. And then the polling day or voting or buang is on 25th of May. I hope that answers you. And also you can retrieve the timeline and all the documents that we presented here in our link tree across all our social media platforms. I think that's all. Is there any more? Are there any more questions? Did so. So thank you so much for attending tonight's notice of election, and I wish you very all the best for all candidates or uh, for all students. Hopefully, we can see more candidates contest themselves this election, so that we know that our campus politics or campus democracy is flourishing. So before we end, I would like to read some one pantun, bahasa Melayu pantun. So dalam kerendahan hati ada ketinggian budi, dalam kemiskinan harta ada kekayaan jiwa, dalam kelembutan lidah ada ketelanjuran kata, dalam gurau dan sendir tentu ada khilaf dan dosa. Mohon ampun dan maaf atas segalanya. Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri, maaf zahir dan batin. I wish a very good Eid, a happy Eid to all students of IIM and the audience that attended.